Can you believe we started Interview Boss in 2021?
Not really. It's insane. That's a lot of episodes and a lot of hours of talking.
Oh my gosh, it is. And if you're scrolling through all of our episodes, you might scroll straight past something that you really, really needed.
Yes, we're always getting messages from people asking us to do an episode on something, and I'm like, we already have.
So we've put together playlists to help you find the episodes that are exactly what you need, suited to your situation.
They're all categorized. If you're applying for jobs, we have episodes about resumes, cover letters, job ads. If you've been offered your dream job, we have episodes on resigning, exit interviews, and how to impress at your new company.
And we even have a very special playlist that's very popular for if you have an interview coming up immediately and you need just our most recommended hard-hitting episodes between now and then.
For all our last-minute listeners. It's all there for you. You can browse by category and check out all the playlists at interviewboss.com.au/podcast. Hey everyone, and welcome back to Interview Boss. My name's Emma. I'm a third-year journalism student who's teamed up with my sister to give you advice, inspiration, and support when you're looking for a new job. Sarah is a HR and recruitment professional, and together we're excited to give you guys all the tips, tricks, and behind-the-scenes knowledge to help you in your career.
Hey Em, and hello again everyone. You know the saying, you never get a second chance to make a first impression. Well, I think that couldn't be more true when it comes to your job search.
That's right. I even found a study that suggests hiring managers form a pretty solid impression of you in just the first 20 seconds. Are you kidding? That's pretty crazy.
It's pretty instant.
Yeah, I mean, pretty terrifying, but it's a fact. So today we're going to jump in to talk about how you can make a good first impression, how you can make sure that in those 20 seconds that hirer is impressed.
And what we're talking about here, Em, is specifically for in-person interviews, but I also think that all of this works for video interviews as well. And I'll highlight, when that might be relevant as we go through the tips.
Awesome. So we've got 9 little tips here. Jumping right in, we've got number 1, dress the part. Now, I mean, this is a given. I'd like to hope that people know to dress up, look smart for their interviews, but specifically, tell us what you like to see.
You say that, but I've seen so many people not dress in a way that was appropriate for the role, and that can go both ways. That can be, too casual, or it can actually be really too dressy as well. It really depends on the environment. So what I would normally say is find out what the workplace dress code is, and what's appropriate for the job. What would you be wearing on a day-to-day basis, and go slightly dressier than that. So you don't want to be, if the job allows you to wear, your exercise gear to work, well, that's cool, but you don't want to be that casual for a job interview. So you might go one level up, which is kind of like, business casual. But my biggest tip here is if you don't know what the normal workplace dress code is, just ask.
I was going to say before that, as we know, the famous saying, it's always better to be overdressed than underdressed. So.
Absolutely, it is. And if you're not sure, definitely go overdressed. But I think definitely remember to note this down. If you're talking to a recruiter or you're emailing back and forth and you're arranging an interview, make sure you ask them what's the dress code. You'll often find that interview invitations will have the dress code listed on it. But my big tip here is stalk some people who work there on social media. Sometimes they'll have like a company, Facebook account or an Instagram account where they post things from the business. Look at what people wear, and then use that as a bit of a basis for, okay, I can see someone wearing jeans, so I know that jeans are okay. Or, I can see that the women there wear heels, or I can see that the guys are in high vis. So, I know that it might be okay to go straight from work. I used to get a lot of people asking, hey, I'm coming straight from my other job. Is it okay if I just wear my work gear? That's totally okay. You can give them a heads up, but you don't have to. You could even just say as you're walking into the interview, hey, look, I've just come from my other job, which is why I'm in my work gear. If you're, a tradie or something like that, it's going to make you look like you're dressed the part for the job anyway.
Authentic.
Yeah, exactly.
Awesome. Now, tip number 2, we've got be 10 minutes early, but not any earlier. This is a good one because I personally cannot be early anywhere, and job interviews I try and leave just 7 years earlier because it's just who I am as a person, that I'm always late. But I do stick to this rule. I'll be there like early, parked and, ready, but I won't go in until 10 minutes. I always wait because I just know that you don't want to be too keen. You don't want to be too eager. There's probably other people before you. I mean, am I right that interviews generally are slotted out sometimes one after another? You don't want to go in.
Yeah.
Not even
maybe,
that, but just to disturb them. Yeah.
Yeah, there could be interviews back to back, but the thing that really obviously don't be late, right? Like that, I feel like everybody knows that. It's a pretty generic kind of job seeker tip, is don't be late to your interview. I think let's discuss that first though. If you are running late, call. Make sure you have a phone number that you can call if something's gone wrong, and give them notice before it's actually, if your interview's at 10 o'clock, don't call at 10 o'clock, call at, 10 to 10 saying, hey, look, I've just had this issue. Unfortunately, I'm going to run late. You're still doing the person the courtesy of letting you know before it's actually hit that time that you are running late. And in that situation, it's the best that you can do. People understand that sometimes things go wrong, and it's really unfortunate for that to be for a job interview. The best thing you can do is give them a heads up.
Definitely.
To the point of being too early, I've worked for a lot of different businesses where we didn't really have a reception necessarily for people to actually sit and wait, where they were away from everyone else. And so if they were waiting, they were kind of like in the middle of the office, sitting next to someone who was doing their work. And if they're there for 20 minutes, and I sometimes had people turn up 20 minutes, half an hour early,
no.
You've told the person who they're interviewing, hey, this person's here. And it kind of feels like you feel guilty making the person wait for 20 minutes, even though that's kind of
it's on
your
them.
fault for turning up early. Yeah, but you kind of feel bad, and you feel like, oh, I haven't even really prepared yet. I'm still in another meeting or something like that. So you're making your interviewers kind of rush. So I think 10 minutes earlier, not earlier. Go walk around the block, get a coffee, stay in your car. Just hang around outside, like go do something else if it's too early for you to go in and then walk in the front door. I also love the tip of scoping out the location. If you're someone who gets really anxious with interviews, and particularly with finding the location, go scope it out on the weekend just to see the address and see, okay, what does that look like the door to go in? Yeah, really helpful. Do a practice drive-by on the weekend.
If I don't know the parking situation, I'm not going.
Yeah, definitely check out the parking. That's another thing you can ask them when you're on the phone. What's the parking like? Is it easy in the area? Now, if this was a video interview in terms of being on time, make sure everything is set up. Join the link at least 5 minutes before. You could even do 10 minutes before, and be sitting in the video interview waiting for your interviewer to join. The amount of times I've waited until it hits the exact time to join, and then you finally work out that you've had some sort of connection issue, and it's like, oh, your microphone can't be heard or whatever. So make sure you're getting yourself ready and like joining the Zoom link 10 minutes before.
Perfect. Now, coming into tip number 3, we have be friendly to everyone. I can so see why this is such a good tip, because I don't know, you could be a bit flustered before the interview. You're heading up the corridor, someone says, oh, good morning, and oh, hello, and you're rushing, whatever. That could be the CEO, or it could be the CEO's wife, or it could be someone that helps make executive decisions, or it could just be a regular Joe, but still, regular Joes deserve to be nice to, I mean, exactly. I remember being at a job once, and they were obviously hiring someone, choosing the person, but even just me at reception chatting to the people as they come in ended up sort of putting in my 2 cents, being like, not that I had any weight, but being like, oh, I really liked this person because they were just lovely and chatty. Like, you make a difference. So
definitely. And if you've got a really good candidate and someone in the office says, oh, did you hire that person? Like, they were really rude in the elevator. They, barged through and pushed the number or something like that.
Yeah.
That can really make an impact on how you feel about a candidate.
You never know who's watching.
Definitely. And I have like absolutely had situations where people, have gone in the elevator and it is the CEO that they met on the way up. I also used to have a situation where the location that we worked at was kind of confusing, and there were a couple of different addresses that you might end up going to, and people would always go to the wrong address that was still the same business, but it wasn't the right spot for them to be in. And the people that they interacted with there, it was really important for them to give off a good impression of that person, as opposed to being, if you're really, really flustered and anxious and, this is what the invite said, that's going to come across kind of badly. And if that person gets talking later on, that could really work against you. So I think assume everyone is watching, and just make sure that you're conscious that you're already being assessed as soon as you've stepped foot in the building or even outside.
Awesome. Now, number 4, smile. Smile. Simple tip, but just do it. Make yourself look like you're excited to be here. I think you can easily forget to smile, but if you're nervous,
you can. And it's like the resting bitch face thing. I definitely suffer from resting bitch face. So I encourage any of you out there who are also the same, make a conscious effort to smile, even if it feels a little bit forced at the beginning. If you can, make yourself relax a little bit, or say, oh yeah, thank, nodding and smiling. Good positive body language is going to make you come across friendly, approachable, like you have a personality as well. I actually went for an interview once, and I noticed that in the information that they'd sent through beforehand, one of the company's values was about having a good sense of humor. And I actually made a joke in the interview as I went in, because I thought, oh, this is one of their values, so I'm going to break the ice a little bit on the way in. And so I made a joke. And it went down really well. It broke the ice, and everyone was kind of relaxed going into the room. So, definitely that personality impact is something that your interviewer is going to be assessing, and working out, can I spend time with this person? Can I imagine, them in my team and with me as a colleague even? So showing your personality by smiling and positive body language is going to be really helpful. Hey, Interview Boss listeners, if the podcast just isn't doing it for you and you need way more help to prep for your next interview, we have the perfect thing for you. Interview Academy. Em, tell us all about it.
This is huge. This is the love child of Sarah after doing hundreds of one-on-one coaching sessions, finding out what people struggle with the most, common mistakes. Sarah has created the ultimate course that you can do in your own time, self-paced, heaps of modules, videos, interactive quizzes, a workbook that will become your Bible by the end that you can take with you into your interview, because if you're a long-time listener, you know that we endorse taking notes into your interview. It's a game changer.
Check out more about it at interviewboss.com.au/interview academy.
Awesome. Now coming into tip number 5, feeling alive. That didn't rhyme. We have handshake. Now, usually in a normal times, we would absolutely say go in for a handshake. It's the respectable thing to do, but COVID times, it's a bit weird. What do you recommend? Do we go in for it, or do we hesitate? Do we elbow tap? Do we make a joke and say, weird times, I can't, what do we do?
It's so awkward. My best advice is sanitize when you go in. Normally most businesses at the moment will have a sanitizer station, so that you can just, not worry about the fact that you're going to give someone anything, and then take their lead. They will either go in for it or they won't, or they will go for the elbow tap or they won't. So take their lead, but be ready, prepared.
Ready to strike with whatever greeting they choose.
Ready to go with the elbow, ready to go with the hand, whatever they go in with.
Ready to
failing
swerve.
that.
No, can we just talk about how much it sucks when you think someone's going to do something, then like they put an arm out but you go to walk away, or you put an arm out and they go to, I just hate that. It's like 1 millisecond of awkwardness, but I will think about it for the rest of the day. In fact, the rest of the week, like that will replay in my head for months. I
It's
can't.
so awkward.
You know what my coping mechanism for that is? To avoid that is I go in strong. I just go in with my decision and I'm like, I'm gonna shake the hand, and I just be dominant, because then they will follow my lead and there's no room for hesitation. Like, or if I'm like, okay, I'm gonna give them a hug, I go in hard for the hug, because this awkwardness happens when you go in soft, when you go in like, like, no, go in, just go in. But don't do that for now. Let them lead. But I'm just saying, usually I lead, and that's the way I avoid that.
Well, even if you read it wrong and you're waiting for them to take the lead and you feel like they're going in for the handshake, commit. Like if you're reading something, just commit and go for it. I think it is a really tricky one in modern times, and you might want to observe while you're waiting in the waiting room, or waiting at reception, or watching what other people do. Are they shaking hands in reception? Are they, fist bumping, high-fiving, elbow tapping or whatever? Are people wearing masks? You can kind of tell how a business is treating things and how, seriously they're taking the extra precautions. Obviously, currently in Australia, none of those are requirements in terms of wearing masks, certainly in New South Wales at the moment. So you can maybe pick up on the cues there. But a salesperson that I was talking to recently was saying, if in doubt, make a joke about it. Just like you said, Em, it's a bit weird, but just to be like, oh, I never know whether to go for the handshake. And, you're addressing the elephant in the room. They're going to feel maybe awkward about it as well. Something else I think is stand up. If you're sitting down when the person come over, stand up as soon as they walk over. You don't want to be shaking their hand sitting down. That's even more awkward.
That's a weird power imbalance. Yep, stand up. Cool. All right, and number 6, we have walk tall. I like this one.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's just, when you're walking through the room, walk with confidence. Think about your body language. Think about the energy that you're projecting as well. I think most of us have seen some of the TED Talks going around about body language and power posing. So
I was literally going to say, there is studies that show that if you walk into a room with your shoulders back and try and emulate the most cockiest walk you can ever do, like, it genuinely has an effect and tricks your brain into thinking you're confident and you feel like you've got this. Like, it's amazing.
Yep. Absolutely. So that's just a little tip, but I think, even if you're not feeling confident, fake it, because you can actually give yourself some confidence and a boost from what you do physically with your body. Amazing.
Number 7, this is pretty funny. Take the water. Take the goddamn water. They always offer you one. You're too nervous. You're like, oh, no, thank you, I'm okay. Or it's sitting there, but like you don't touch it. Just take the water. Why should we take the water?
Okay, so there's lots of reasons. First of all, most of the
time... You're
probably
thirsty. You've trekked up there. You're stressed. Your heart's racing. Have a sip.
Yes, absolutely. But also, I used to do this all the time. I wouldn't even listen to the question and I would just say, no, thank you. I don't know why, just because it was just too awkward and I just felt weird accepting something from someone. Even like if I was in someone's house and they'd be like, oh, do you want a snack? Do you want something? And like I didn't know them very well. I'd be like, oh, no, thank you. And then I'd think about it afterwards, immediately after, and be like, you know what? I'm kind of hungry. Why did I say no? So don't let yourself get caught up in that thing of just saying, oh, no, thank you, I'm okay. Because you probably do want to drink and you're going to be talking a lot during this interview.
True. You don't want to get cotton mouth.
Yeah, you get a dry mouth and it's hard. That happens to me all the time. I talk really fast when I'm nervous, and if you can just take a sip of water while they're asking you the next question, something that can calm you down, and it's really, really handy to have something to hold on to as well, so you're not being awkward with your hands. But the main important reason is something that we mentioned last week, which is the Ben Franklin effect, which is essentially what we talked about with cognitive dissonance. If someone does you a favor, they like you more. So someone's asking you, hey, can I get you a glass of water, tea or coffee, whatever? They're asking, can I do you a favor? And you're saying, no, thanks. Take the opportunity to have them do that favor for you, and it will hopefully work in your effect and have them like you more.
And trick them psychologically. We love it. Everything helps.
It's not a trick. It's not a manipulation. It's just they go, oh, why did I do that for that person? It's handy. You're just going to, they've already offered.
Right. Number 8, we have body language. This sounds like a given, but, we have things here like sit back in your chair, sit up straight, nod when listening. Talk to us about that.
Yeah. I mean, some people come in and they're really uncomfortable or, they just haven't thought about it necessarily and they've slumped back in the chair. It can just make it look like you're uninterested. You may not even know, what you look like from that angle, from the other side of the table.
Do you know what? I'm a huge arm crosser for a comfort thing. Like that's just what I do. And then sometimes I'll be chatting to someone, like even at work or something, and then I just become aware of how I'm standing. And I'm like, oh my God, I look so angry / like disinterested, bored. Like, it's, I don't know, it's terrible. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm always a big one for accidentally sitting on the edge of the chair, like perching on the edge of the chair and sitting like up really, really straight when I'm uncomfortable. But
that's so, like that meme. No, wait, stop. That is like that meme. We'll have to put it in the Facebook group. That's like when you go to your man's house for the first time and it's of the girl sitting right on the corner of the bed holding her handbag in her arms and he's like, make yourself at home. And she's like, okay. And then sits down on the corner like awkwardly. That's so good.
Right? And so as much as like, yeah, you're sitting up straight, like, bonus points, you don't look comfortable and you look
just
really...
sit on a chair normally.
Yeah. Sit back in your chair, sit up straight, nod when listening, all that kind of stuff. Uncross your arms. Just be a bit conscious of your body language. Try and settle in. Try and make yourself a little bit comfortable if you can, the way that you would just, kind of in a meeting that you were paying attention to. Yeah, it just only takes a second to just go, oh, hold on, before I just get comfortable or before I accidentally slip into something nervous, let me think about how I'm sitting.
Perfect. And lucky last, number 9, feeling fine, we have don't fidget. This is like a bit of a classic, the kid in primary school saying the speech and they're vigorously shaking or rocking. Oh my God, how hard is it to watch a presentation when someone's swaying? It makes you feel so uncomfortable. But nauseous. You don't even realize you're doing it. If you're nervous, you might fidget. But, hold your hands and hold them both together. Sit on your hands. I don't know.
Yeah, definitely. That's where it could be helpful to have a notebook with you, or that glass of water could really help if you just pick that up every now and then. It'll stop you fidgeting. But I actually have a story about this, and I thought our listeners might enjoy hearing about this story. So I interviewed someone for a sales job, and for this sales job, they would obviously have to be in a lot of different client meetings. They'd have to be presenting, building relationships, selling to people. So it was really important how they acted in this interview because it was like they were kind of going to be in this situation a lot. So really, really important how they presented themselves. It was a Friday afternoon, which I think is important later in the story. So this girl, she at first I thought she had chewing gum. She didn't have any chewing gum. She was just chewing on her tongue or on her cheeks or something. She could not get her hands out of her hair. She'd flick it over one way, she'd flick it over the next way. She'd have her hands up scratching her head. She was like touching, almost caressing her arms, both arms, like hugging herself kind of thing at the same time. And it was so distracting. I couldn't listen to what she was saying. She kept closing her eyes when she was saying things as well, and like, well, with her eyes closed. And I was going, I didn't know where to look. The other person I was interviewing with, I was glancing at. I actually sent them a chat on our online system because we both had our laptops open, and went,
WTF?
Is this girl high? That's actually what I said. I sent him a message saying, is she high? Now, I don't know whether she was or not. I have my assumptions about what she might have...
I have my reservations.
She might have been... I have my assumptions about why she might have been acting like that. But do you know what I also think? Maybe she wasn't. Maybe that's just what she was doing during the interview. But imagine that that's what someone assumed about you because you were fidgeting
just
too
fidgety,
much, or because you had some really strange body language, like you were blinking too much, or you were, touching your arm too much, or something like that. I feel really bad about that all the time, thinking maybe she wasn't. Maybe she was really, really nervous. But honestly, in the job that we were looking for, she was going to have to be in that situation. We just thought, imagine this person representing our business. This is so uncomfortable. So I thought you guys might enjoy that Friday afternoon interview. Safe to say we cut that one a little bit short. So be careful of your fidgeting. That's the moral of the story here. Awesome.
Well, perfect. There you have it. There's our 9 little tips to make a good first impression. Like we said, there's no such thing as making a good second impression. It's called a first impression for a reason, and it can make all the difference. We hope this episode was helpful. If you want to hear more from us, stick around and we'll be in your ears next week.
Thanks so much for listening to Interview Boss. If you want to hear more from us, make sure you hit subscribe. We're a new podcast, so if you liked this episode, we'd really appreciate it if you could give us a review so we can help even more people. For more advice, inspiration, and a supportive community, join us in the Interview Boss Facebook group.
We've been your job search besties and helped you in some way. There's a cool way you can support the show. Shout us a virtual coffee.
We get a huge kick out of reading all of your success stories. Head to buymeacoffee.com/interviewboss and shout us a cuppa.
If you keep us caffeinated, we can keep the content coming.